All right, welcome back. We're back with Inside Four Lines, and this time my special guest is Coach Cortez Lee. Coach Lee, could you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, name is Cortez Lee. I've been coaching a total of 26 years, have a vast experience of knowledge, but my claim would be making sure that young people learn how to become young men first, and then whatever goal or endeavor they have in life, help them accomplish it.
Tell them where you coach and what you do right now.
Currently, I'm the head football coach at Little Rock Mills. Just instruction, making sure that guys are attainable, they're disciplined, and be willing to accept whatever change or whatever obstacle that they have to adhere to in life, and that they leave my program and our program with success in mind and can accomplish anything.
Uh, Previously, y'all made it all the way to, I want to say, the state semis.
Simmons, yes.
The state semis, and I believe that's like the third time in a row.
Yes, two times in a row,
Two
and
times
yes,
in a row.
yes. Mhm.
Okay. So just tell us about that in this season. The season coming up. The season that just ended.
Yeah, currently we've been on a good streak of just winning back-to-back conference champions. Uh, Prior to that, we had two runner-ups. So, man, we've extended the life of our program. We've enhanced it. We've helped young men become better athletically as well as academically. And most of our young men, if they want to go on to play sports in college, there are too many schools out there with availabilities. You may not get to go where you initially want to go personally, but there's a college for you. And our job is to help these young men explore those other colleges that are willing to accept them. But far as on the football field, man, we've made incredible strides. Our play has increased, our discipline has gotten better, and around here we have a moniker and a statement that we go by, and it's just going 1-0. And 1-0 means that you just want to win the game in front of you. You don't want to go past that game because when you start looking ahead of that game, you start losing the focus of what your mission is. And we strongly believe that we want our young men to stay on task, not try to get ahead of the objective, which is to win that game. As far as something that we believe in around here, we have an acronym DCP, which is discipline, conditioning, and personnel. So when you're disciplined, you make a lot more sound decisions. Doesn't mean that they're going to always work because you have a competitor as well, and he works on some of the same things. We feel that a conditioned athlete is the best athlete. Eventually, someone's going to get tired. And when that person gets tired, normally that other athlete has a hand up or a leg up on that person, and the success ratio for that person drastically goes up. And last, personnel, know where to place your players at. You know, sometimes we put fast guys in the wrong positions and we put slow guys in the wrong positions, big guys, small guys. So, as a leader, my job is to make sure that I put the person in the right position, whether that's physically or intellectually, in order for them to be successful.
All right. So previously, before you got here, I would say that Mills was like a losing program.
Yes, not to step on Mills' program because they gave me an incredible opportunity, but they weren't successful when I got here. But the just opportunity to come to a facility in a place that had all the amenities that you needed as a head coach, we had to go in there and beat the walls down to get players to play. And with that, you know, we had a few guys that were willing to make Mills their home, and together we all built up this place to where it's commendable, most definitely competitive.
Just to give y'all a little background, I've done my research, and between Mills and Parkview, right now, those are the only two schools that have the most collegiate athletes. With a couple of your collegiate athletes, could you just mention like a couple of names as far as like what school they go to, and guys to watch, this upcoming season?
Just specifically, some guys that you would probably know. Charleston Collins is at the University of Arkansas. He plays defensive end. We have Anton Pierce. He's at UT Martin. We have Achilles Ringo. He's at Alcorn State. We have Zion Smith. He's at Georgia A&T. We have Caleb Sane. He's at Norfolk State. We have Nick Carter and Xavier Striblin. They were both freshman All-Americans. They're at UAPB. And we have several other athletes that I'm not quite naming right now that are playing college, and we're super proud of them.
Yeah. All right. So, Coach Lee, the biggest thing as far as Inside Four Lines, like the reason that I have the podcast is just to give like an inside look as far as like, the locker room, the coaches talk, things of that nature. So, previously, I've had a few coaches that's, talked about Coach Lee. And they say that Coach Lee doesn't really do interviews. And it was a big thing for me to get an interview. So what's one of the reasons you decided to do an interview with us today?
Well, I'll just say certain people you have to give an effort for. I think Coach Toombs is one of those people. I just believe that action speaks louder than words. And a lot of times you can put your words before your action. For you, Coach Toombs, I consider you a young brother. I consider you somebody on the rise. So I'll take a chance and I'll do an interview for you.
All right. All right. So as a coach of 26 years of experience, what would you say is the biggest thing that you learned from coaching your beginning coaching year to coaching now?
I would say the availability of resources. Um, so often, just get an opportunity to be a coach is a godsend, it's a blessing. But then when you start breaking down all the ingredients that go into coaching, you realize that there's a lot of have and have nots that are in there. But you can't dwell on those things because if you start dwelling on what you don't have, you miss out on what you've been blessed to have. But so often, certain programs are afforded the luxury of having availability and equipment, travel expenses, materials that enhance the program. I would just say being able to have your program be on an equal basis of having the exact same things that other programs have. That's a deterrent that I think needs to be equalized amongst programs. That way, all young men feel like they're getting treated fairly, and not one side is better than the other. Some more things that I say go into coaching preparation. Um, I think when you're prepared, you're able to put a product out there. Uh, may not win all the time, but most definitely they're going to be smarter. Their decision making skills are going to be a lot more positive than they would not be if you as a coach didn't prepare your players for outcomes that could possibly affect whether they go to college or not go to college, be it all state player, all district. So just making sure that these young men have all the materials and have all the different things that are needed for them to be successful.
Speaking of college, what would you say is the biggest deterrent as far as like the kids that you think, have the skill level, but necessarily don't make it to college?
Grades, most definitely. But I was always told when coaches question high school coaches about players, grades are important, but they ask you what type of person are you. So young men out there, how you carry yourself, your demeanor, decorum, knowing when and where and how to act is just as important as grades are. How you carry yourself is at the top of that list. You will be surprised if people feel that you're welcoming in who you are and as a person. They're more than apt to give you things as opposed to you being anti or somebody that's standoffish. They'll hold off on you. So most definitely guard who you are as a person.
And then lastly, before we end the podcast, what can we expect from Mills High School next year?
I just say a better product as far as discipline. We've really targeted that this year. You can never pinpoint the outcome because these are young men and they're continuously growing.
Okay.
So you're going to have situations that come up and it can possibly put a stain on your program or can possibly make it better. But we as leaders and we as adults here, we want to just make sure that we highlight how we want to move, how we want to navigate through a lot of different situations so that our young men shine a great light on our Meals program for future players to come here and play here.
Well, Coach Lee, we thank you for the opportunity to interview you. And this is Inside Four Lines with Coach Toombs. Y'all have a good one.